Yeah, once again for the great minds and now time about 4 for 10. Got the homie and state champ Jay with me. What's up, man?
Hey. What's up? How you doing?
Same old, same old. You introduce yourself as Jay, Jason, what? Head
Uh,
top Jay, what?
yeah, Jason. Most people call me Jay. My friends, family call me Jay. So either one is cool.
Okay, okay. Where you from? What's your hood? What's your squad? What you repping?
Originally from Springfield, Virginia. So I grew up there for a couple years, and then we moved out here to Herndon, Chantilly area, and so it's been here ever since. As for squad, I don't know yet. Kind of still changing things up. It's ever changing for Sunday mornings and Sunday nights, but yeah, usually running with Ray, running with some of my boys, and then for Thursday nights. Um, Last two seasons I played in the spring, and then in the summer it was with the White Buffalo crew with Harold and them. So that was pretty fun. Hopefully we get back to that this year. But yeah,
What sports you played growing up?
growing up, I played every sport for at least I think one season. So all the big sports, so basketball, football, soccer, and baseball. I hated soccer. I don't know what
Really?
it was, but I just that's the one sport I didn't like.
And it
Uh,
wasn't because of just the running, it was something else.
I don't know. I think I started out as a goalie and I got hurt a bunch.
Okay.
This was like pee wee soccer, so when it was still kind of like 5-on-5, 6-on-6, but I didn't have a feel for it. But baseball was pretty chill. I started that off pretty young too. My dad was a big baseball guy growing up, so I think he kind of wanted to push me to either baseball or basketball. And then starting, I think yeah, I think it was third grade, it was basketball, and then up until high school, just all basketball. Um, and then I didn't start playing football until high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I found like I always knew how to catch the ball, and I was always pretty quick. So I'd always play like recess and stuff in school, but I never did like full contact football until high school. So that's when I started.
We'll break down your road down to Mason.
Uh, so I went to Westfield out in Chantilly for my 4 years. I was class of 21, so the year right after COVID. And then I think the biggest thing was getting a 4 year degree just out the way. So try to get my bachelor's out the way. So I weighed all my options, and I think Mason was probably the easiest one because still with COVID, so half my classes were still online. We kind of still restricted in terms of like what you can and can't do on school and stuff. So I never really had like aspirations or anything of playing after like playing sports after high school. It was always like FXA rec and just whatever bump you can find. And then beginning of my sophomore year, so 2 years ago, someone told me like, "Hey, Mason got a club team, right?" And I knew in the back of my head they had a club team, but I didn't know like it was like gaining steam like that. Like I thought it was just kind of like intramurals. Like most people think like, oh, it's club team intramurals. So I came out to the spring practices, and then all the people I met there were pretty chill, and they all had kind of the same mindset as me. Like, hey, look, I know we got the club mantra, and like we're in a very populated area, very, very like kind of wealthy area, no Northern Virginia, right? So they're like, hey, if Mason has a D1 track team, D1 soccer team, D1 basketball team, why doesn't they have a football team? And so the new coach we had that year, he was trying to kind of put something together where he wants to build a foundation of the program and kind of start the program from scratch and eventually like make its way up the ranks. So I fell in love with it there, and I fell in love with just like the community and the people like playing there. I met a lot of my close friends there. We've been friends for like over 2 years now. And so I started playing there in 22 and then this past year in 23
Okay, okay.
in my second year.
How many years you got left? Eligibility.
I think this upcoming season is going to be my last season
Okay,
because I should be graduated by next spring with all my credits. So it'll be 3 years total.
okay, okay. Who put you on the flag or who brought you out?
Um, I knew about flag, but I was always a 7-on-7 guy. So like in high school, after high school, in some St. James leagues, I would just casually playing like 7-on-7, like pro style 7-on-7. So what they do at like high schools and like the recruitment camps and stuff like that. As for flag, it was the summer right after I graduated, so summer of 21, I actually came out with Ravi. You probably know Ravi from Westfield. He put a team together for like Westfield alumni. And so he originally brought me out. And then that's how I ended up meeting Chan and Nick, my boys over at Pure Motion. And so it didn't really last long. It was more kind of like a casual thing, like just get out, swell a little bit, run around at night. So that was pretty fun. That was my first season originally playing flag. And then I think it was the year after that in 22. That's when played. I played in the winter, I played in the spring, and then I played in the summer. So that whole year was my first year in FXA. So going into this year will be my third like full year playing FXA. But in terms of flag, like I didn't really like know like the rules or anything. Like you know how it is with like original football players, you get in like you get called a bunch for like flag guarding and stuff like that because you're running low and they think you're like flag guarding with the belt and stuff like that. But yeah, ever since then it's just been like an uphill climb, like meeting guys like Ray, y'all at Supreme Beast, just kind of getting to know the community and kind of expanding yourself out a little bit more and dudes that play flag a lot. So it's been a good experience.
Before we get into it, when you will get into more tournaments or small
Uh,
though, small.
I was about to go to Worlds down in Tampa for fives non-contact, but something came up last minute. I was still on the fence. I hadn't been working, so I needed to get back to work. So this past week I've been working, so I decided to stay and just kind of watch from afar. But I know it's a pretty big deal. Couple teams were trying to get me to come with them, and I've been seeing like on Instagram and stuff like how like big it actually is. I didn't realize it was actually like a bunch of other countries that come and play. So I think next year for sure I'll probably make my first flight down to Florida to play. And then for states is the only tournaments I've actually played in. So this past year with Primal Fear, and then last year with y'all. Those were like the two like big really tournaments I've played. Besides like the little like Thanksgiving ones that they have for FXA. But
So
other than that, I haven't really played
you
other
get into
tournaments.
small ball?
That was actually supposed to be my first time. So I've never played fives. I hear from everybody that plays fives and everybody that plays eights that like, hey, if you played fives, like you'd fall in love with it and you'd be really good at it because all of it is just like close quarters, like man to man. But my biggest thing was like since I've always grown up playing 7-on-7, like I thought sevens was like the lowest I can go in terms of like real football concepts and ideology.
Yeah.
I think that's why I've kind of stayed with eights. But I'm actually playing in the little FXA tournament they got, the first annual one on the I think
Who
it's
you with?
next Saturday from today.
Who you with?
But say Primal Fear. So the label is Primal Fear. And I think it's a couple guys from the team we want to stace with. But I know Guy's not gonna be there because I think he's training for to go back to Arena Bowl.
Okay,
But Jason told me there was another quarterback that plays Arena that's down to play fives, and he's gonna be our quarterback.
okay,
This
okay.
should be
Yeah,
fun.
we'll see you out there. Supreme Beast in the joints. We'll see you out there.
Word.
All right, shit, we're getting to it. What's your favorite format?
Favorite format definitely eights.
Okay,
I think eights is the only one. Eights and sevens are the only flag formats I've played, like in terms of like actual organized flag. I think for sure it's eights because it feels the closest thing to real football, but still having like that backyard concept. Like when you play those teams that go super spread, like one lineman, it's very quick. You gotta come down, rally, and it's still all about the athlete, but at the same time you still get that like X's and O's type of stuff on offense and defense. So I say definitely eights.
offense or defense, what you prefer?
Tough. I'll probably lean defense. I've always been a defensive guy. Even playing basketball growing up, my whole mantra was just like be a dog on defense. You hear coaches say it all the time, be a dog on defense. And I wasn't really a good shooter in basketball, so it was only way you're gonna make it on the court is if you know how to pass the ball, you can take care of the ball, and you play good defense. And then I think that carried over to football was just getting stops on defense. I think is a little more rewarding than scoring touchdowns on offense. So scoring touchdowns and stuff, all the head tops and stuff, that's cool. But
Yeah,
I think mindset wise, you got to have that like it's a mindset. Like not everybody wants to be like, oh, I want to go be a DB. I want to go play defense. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool being a little bit different.
right, right. Who's the best quarterback you play with?
I knew I was gonna get this question. Let me see. I think it's got to be between Guy and it's got to be between Harold Sunshine. Ray's my guy. Probably the most consistent guy I've played with because I've played with for such a long time. But I played with Guy for states, and then I played with Harold the past two seasons that I played in the summer and the spring.
So what's
I
the
think
big difference between Sunshine and Guy? What's the big difference between the two? So they both tall.
They throw the like mechanic wise, I feel like they throw the ball the same.
Mhm.
And like when I'm coming out of my break, the zip they have on the ball is just different. Like it's the exact same. I think the biggest thing that I saw was Guy can run. Like
Oh,
he'll like especially on day two of states when
yeah.
he had to like take off and he took off, he wasn't looking to like take off and pitch it back. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
he
yeah.
like kind of got low a little, put his shoulder down, and you could see the hip movement. I think the biggest thing from them two is Guy can run a little bit more. I think Harold can still run,
Yeah. He
but I
fast.
think Harold still wants to stay in the pocket and kind of deliver a little bit more. But Guy can run. With that being said, I think I'm gonna still lean Harold because I just played with him for longer. Like I played with him for two full seasons, and then we won the chip one of the seasons, then we made it to the second chip in the second season, and we lost. But I think it's definitely got to be. I think Harold has the edge for me.
Okay, okay. Um, who's the best receiver in your conference, and who's the best DB in FXA, or somebody you at least look forward to facing off against?
He's best receiver in our conference in
Yeah,
terms of like,
yeah, it matters. It makes it. Yeah,
Mason.
yeah.
Best receiver. I'm gonna have to be a little biased because I went against him in practice every day. It's my boy Theo. He's I don't know what it is. I think his pro comp, if you were to give him a pro comp, is exactly like AJ Brown. He
Mm,
hates the pro comp, but in terms of like guarding him in our offense, we would ISO him a lot.
mm,
And then in our defense, the guy that's ISO, you lock it, so the corner is always by himself. So I think in practice, I went against him the most in terms of being one on one, and he probably gave him the most fits because he's smooth with his routes, but like even if you're at his hip, like he's not the quickest dude. Like I feel like I'm a little bit quicker than him. But like at the catch point, if the ball is there, like he's one of those dudes where like if he gets his hands on the ball, it's over. You know what I mean? He's just strong. So I think he's the best receiver that's in our conference. And then in terms of just overall, when we played what's it called? When we made it to the semis this past season, we went up to Toledo. There was a team from Georgia, Clayton State, that made it up there with us. That's who we were playing against. And there was this kid number five, Matthew. I don't know his full name, but it was Matthew. He was silky. He could, run after the catch. He got me a couple times on a couple deep balls, but he was just silky overall. And then I think that's the one guy that was like, damn, he kind of gave me the works.
mm.
But I think overall it's definitely between him and Dio because I played with Dio the most.
Okay, okay. Far as a DB and FXA, who's somebody you like facing off against?
I I like facing off against definitely Daryl. I think me and Daryl go at it a good amount. It's really competitive between us two. And then I don't know about DB because I think I've only played against him once or twice at DB, but I definitely remember playing against him when he was at receiver and I was at DB is Pat.
Okay,
So I think I think Pat's probably the best wide receiver DB like combo that I've played against in FXA.
okay.
And then I think Daryl is probably the best DB I've gone against in terms of just like pure like one-on-one reps
Mhm.
and kind of giving me like a run for my money. But besides them two, I don't really think. I mean, I don't think there's a DB that's been able to shut me down
Okay,
like completely when we're like turning on. But I think for sure, like competition wise and like one-on-one battle wise, is definitely Pat, definitely Daryl.
okay. What's that? What's that? All right. What's your favorite? What has been your favorite field stadium you played in with Mason?
Stadium was definitely the Glass Bowl. We made it up to the semis up in Toledo, so we played at University of Toledo. Like they have a Division I team. We played at that stadium.
Mhm.
And just walking in, you could just see like how big the stadium actually is and the field. Like the field, it always looks bigger on TV, but when you walk into like a college or a professional stadium and you step on the field, it's a lot smaller. The stadium is just bigger. So like all the seats and the bleachers, like the tech boxes up at the top, you just look up and it's just towering over you. So you don't realize how like big everything is in retrospect. So I think that's definitely the best stadium I've played in.
Okay, okay. What's the furthest you've traveled with Mason?
It was Toledo.
You know?
I think that was 9 hours drive wise. And then we have every year or every other year we got to go up to Sacred Heart in Connecticut.
Okay.
I think that's like a 7.5, 8 hour drive.
Mm,
I think it's definitely those two, but Toledo is definitely the farthest drive that we've had to make.
okay, okay. Talk to me about Coach J performance and your role or experience with Pure Motion Athletics.
Yeah, so just started up. I got my ISSA certificate, which is Institute of Sports Science Association this past summer. And so what that means is I'm basically a certified personal trainer, but in the strength and conditioning field. So basically a certified strength and conditioning specialist. And what I've been doing is I've been kind of working under Chan at Pure Motion. A lot of people know Chan and Nick from True AP. They used to work at True AP, which was the big training gig out in Chantilly at the end zone. But he and Nick left and they started their own business. So they're co-presidents of True AP. I
Mhm.
mean Pure Motion.
Okay.
And so they have their kind of own group of trainers. Cam's out there too. Cam from All Smoke. Myself is out there. My boy Nate and Nas, who you've probably seen a couple times at the games, they're out there too. So I've been kind of starting up training, and the goal is to kind of start my own stuff under them and kind of get my own clientele like as the years progress. I'm still kind of under Chan's wing a little bit. He's still teaching me the ropes. I think eventually the goal is to become like either a coach or like a strength and conditioning specialist under that field.
Okay. Okay. Respect. Respect. Um, Head top out running or taking ankles. Which one feels better?
Head top, outrunning, taking ankles.
I mean, your head top, Jay, so they
Yeah,
might
I
think that's what
I
it
I'd probably say the head top
is.
because for me it's the least expected. Like when people see me, like the first time coming out, like warming up and stuff, people are like, "Oh yeah, that little Asian kid's kind of fast."
Yeah.
Always comparing me to Chan, like them Asian boys, you gotta make sure you pull their flag off rip.
Yeah.
They think like once I catch the ball, like I'm gonna get loose with it. I don't think what they expect is the head tops is going up because like especially starting off playing with Papa for a couple years, we had all those deep shots, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Man, what the hell is the quarterback doing throwing it like that?" And the ball is just in the air, and then last second I come down with it, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, how is he coming down with it?" So I think just from the aspect of it being unexpected, I think definitely head top feels the best.
Okay. Okay. Your favorite cleats and jersey. You have them. You know which ones they are.
Cleats. I'll probably say any variation of it's the cheap joints. It's the Speed 360s. So the low ones is pretty common for receivers and DBs. I have like two pairs of them, one in white, one in like black and white. But those are the one pair of cleats that I've had that I haven't had to break him in longer than like one time. So like I'll wear them, and then especially nowadays with like the Nike cleats, if they're not like nylon, they're really hard to break in. So you got to go out to the field like 3, 4 times, really step them in before, and you get blisters and shit before like everything breaks in. But I think those they've been the best on my feet, and they've been the most durable. So I'd say those. As for jersey, I don't really have a jersey. Like when I play with Ray and stuff, we're kind of just like, all right, our team color is white, our team color is black. Just bring a black shirt. Kind of keep it simple. But the one jersey I do have is y'all's from States last year that we never got to wear. Got them in late. Those are hard. I want to eventually wear those if it's for another tournament or something like that. I got the white home ones and then the camo away ones.
We'll keep that in mind. Make sure you go to a tournament with us. We're
Yeah,
going to
for
make
sure.
tournaments this year, so you rolling with us.
Yeah, bet.
What are goals you have for your senior season at Mace?
Biggest thing I want to win a chip. I think talent wise, we got a couple guys that left. But I think just overall, in terms of like building a foundation, we have just enough guys that if we really put our head down and work, we can win a chip. And we've never won a chip before, but we've come close. I think the closest was a couple of years before I started playing in 21. They made it to the chip and then lost to Ohio State. But I think that's the biggest goal is definitely a chip because this is probably my last season. A couple of my boys' last seasons too. So I want to kind of go out with a bang and say like, oh, we were able to win a chip. Because last year we won the division. So the five teams in our division, we ended up with the best record. That's why we got that little trophy. That felt good, but ultimately we didn't reach the end goal, which was the whole league chip. So I think that's definitely the biggest goal this upcoming season.
Okay. Um, 4 for 10. Let's say we at the 50-yard line. Y'all need 10 more yards to get a first down and end the game, run the clock out. Um, what are you telling the quarterback you want? Where are you lining up at? Who is the quarterback?
Are
Talking
we
about
talking eights? We
we're
talking flags?
talking eight.
Okay.
Yeah. So where you lining up? Who throwing the ball? What you running?
So 4th and 10.
Yeah. We're at the 50-yard line. Trying to get to the 40 in the game.
Uh, I say like consistently wise, like if I got to put my money on it and timing and everything, I got Ray at quarterback, and I'm gonna start out in doubles, and then I'll be the outside receiver on one side, and then we'll motion that slot away, and then based off that motion, what we do is we read it. So if that motion comes and we can tell that corner is locked, then we'll run either a back shoulder or a stop option right at the sticks. Like you probably see me and Ray do it a bunch.
Mhm.
It's just run, and then once you get your DB to commit, to just flip the hips, just stop on a dime, the ball is always going to be their back shoulder. So turn to the outside. That's if we know it's manned. So like a smart DB, if they see that motion away, you automatically know you're locked, right? Because it's 8 on 8. You don't have an extra guy in the box to help defend like the flat. So if you motion that number two away and you get that one-on-one look, I think that's the read every time. I don't think there's been a DB that's been able to stop that consistently between me and Ray. As for zone, we still run with that motion, but then it would be a post dig option for me on the outside. And then backside, all you do is you turn it into a like a super flood. So you have a corner from the slot, so number two. Outside has a hitch, and then what's it called? Number three, the guy that just motioned just drags back across the field. So if you have 3 by 1, left to right, it's hitch, corner, drag, and then the post dig from me over top. And then Ray will usually roll to that side. So he'll have that lineman seal, have him roll, and then let the backside rusher come free. So he's on a clock. It's like a 3 second clock. You got to get the ball out. But you have that leverage to while you're rolling, all your routes are coming with you to the same side. And I think in flag, especially from a traditional set with three linemen, that's the easiest thing to move the ball is to just roll. And even if your quarterback's not that mobile, if you can kind of get him 2 steps outside that front side rusher, I think it's just he's got to make the read at that point. You got to make the play.
All right, man. I enjoyed this, man. This is good, man. Appreciate this, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Appreciate you having me on.
Chuck told me your secret to head tops. Is that a secret? That's something you learned? That's something you was told? What?
The secret to head tops?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Any personal accolades on the season?
For Mason season?
No, for you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just recently named first team All-American, so defensive back
Okay.
for the NCFA. So yeah, that was a big accomplishment. I got second team last year, and I thought I could have made first team last year. So that was kind of my big goal going this year. Obviously to win a ship, but I got one more year to try to make it work. See if we can do it in the fall.
Okay.
One more off season worth of training and a little bit more flag. I think I should be good to
Stop
go
late.
in the fall. Yeah, it's all time, man.
Okay. Okay. That's
I
something you
think
learned over time. Did somebody just tell you that? Or what?
uh I always knew how to catch the ball like with my hands. Like I was never afraid of like because a lot of kids when you teach them how to catch, they kind of body catch, right? And they're afraid the ball is gonna hit their face. I think ever since I was a kid, I've just had a knack for like catching the ball clean with my hands. And then I think from just playing eights, it was like, all right, a lot of these dudes are bigger than me. A lot of these dudes are probably more athletic than me. You just gotta be like smarter. So like when I first started with like, all right, just throw me a go ball, I'm gonna go get it. It was like, all right, you're not gonna outjump a DB that's 6'1", 6'2", but you can, if you're behind him, you can see where he's jumping from. You know what I mean? And at that point, it's all right. As soon as his feet leave the ground, you leave after that. So on his way down, you're still on your way up. So if you were to take a camera and freeze frame it, it looks like, damn, Jay's jumping over a dude. When in reality, I'm 4 or 5 inches off the ground. His feet are just back on the ground. And at that point, it's catch the ball with your hands, tuck it down, secure the catch. Also, Primal Fear.
Okay. Okay. This your second year at States, correct?
Yeah, second year.
Okay. Okay. How'd y'all Saturday go?
Saturday was pretty good. It was 2-0. Then at the end of the 2-0, we thought that it wasn't really worth like coming down and playing. Like we thought we should have been playing an A,
Yeah.
at least the other guys. I mean, like me and my boy Nate and some of the other guys were there. We're just like there to ball out. But the other guys that have played states before and the guys that were like competitive were like, man, this bump's not really it. We got to be playing some other teams.
Okay.
And then Jason actually told us that if we made it into tomorrow, which was Sunday, that we'd be playing against better teams. So we all made the drive back up Sunday and 5-0.
Okay. Explain your Sunday. What field were y'all at Sunday?
Glen Allen High School.
Okay. Okay. Who'd y'all face off against first?
I don't remember the name. It was one of the R teams. It might have been not Arsenal.
Marksman.
Marksman. Yeah, it was Marksman first. Then we had Joe right after that, and then the championship right after that we had Reloaded,
Okay.
the green team for the finals. So yeah.
Just paying attention to the game, playing
Yeah.
smarter, not harder.
It's the little things too. And then you see like a lot of these DBs that are smart and that I know, and when they know a jump ball's coming, they'll kind of sell and be like, "Hey, he's pushing off." But if you take a camera and you look, a push off is when your arms are fully extended
Yeah.
and then you go up with the ball.
Mhm.
Rarely my arms are out here. My arms are here and then I'm going up. So I'm gonna put my hands on you, but I'm not gonna fully extend. You know what I mean? So that's why I really get called for it. It's because I'll put my hands on my back as a guide, kind of feel as you're going up. All right, that's when I know I gotta go get it. So I'll go from here straight up, catch the ball, and then come down. But then they'll think like, oh, he's getting over me, he's over top of me, he's smaller than me, he shouldn't be able to go over top of me. That's a push off. But they don't just get that. It's just the little things, the timing, and then getting the hands late, lay hands.